everybody, I'm so thrilled. I wish I had a whole lot more time, but I'm actually going to have more time with Donna when Donna comes back and we do a full-hour interview on the radio. Donna Stellhorn joining me here today. Chinese Astrology 2015, Year of the Wood Sheep. Now, I'm not even going to go into that for a minute because I want to start with you. You shared with me that this is your 10th book.
It is.
And I said to you, I'm trying to get my first book out. And you said, well, what is holding you up? And I said, I got issues. But I bet if you were to look into what you do, you'd be able to help me out with some of this.
Oh,
Chinese astrology.
Yes.
I'm so fascinated. How did you get to be an expert in this field? What was it about this that called you forward?
Well, that's a really interesting story
Yeah.
because I was in computer science and plugging away, programming computers, and my boss at the time did some numerology, and she said, you have a real talent with astrology. Well, I was so excited to have a talent at something that I ran out immediately and found a teacher and started studying. And I was so focused and obsessed with studying that I studied all of the time until my teacher kicked me out of the nest and said, you got to go do this professionally. So and ever since.
Did you love it though? You had to love it though.
I still love it so much because it brings us a kind of a spiritual aspect to what we're doing in the physical world.
And that's great because I need to really ask you about this because many people hear the word astrology and they think it's like, you know what they think it's like? It's like growing up Italian and saying to somebody, we're gonna have gravy, and they think all spaghetti sauce is the same. It is not.
That's true.
It is not.
Yes.
You know, where my family was born is different than my mom's family. But we do the same thing with astrology. Tell us about Chinese astrology.
Well, Chinese astrology is interesting because it's based on all of these different animals, and we can really connect with the animals to say, oh, this animal has this sort of qualities, and that animal eats that animal, so therefore they're not going to really get along.
Oh!
We're going into Year of the Sheep, and sometimes it's called ram, and sometimes it's called goat, because people don't want to be a sheep. So, but this is a time where we're going to be more into the herd. We're going to look for people who are like us and connect with them. We want to be part of the group, versus this current year that we're just leaving, which was horse, which is, look at me, I'm number one.
That is so fascinating. You know, when does the Chinese New Year start?
It will start on the 19th, so that's next week.
Right.
And it's on a lunar cycle, so it's not our January 1st.
Right.
So which is great. If you did New Year's resolutions and you've fallen off of the little wagon, you got one more chance.
Isn't that interesting that we're talking about this? Because, you know, for us, you know, we have, well, we're here. So it already talks to that energy. But the other part of this that's fascinating to me is, you know, we're part of a brand new paradigm for crowdfunding that isn't individualistic. It's all about community crowdfunding.
Yes, yes. That trend is really going to take off.
Wow.
That's what people are going to be talking about, but also social media and connecting people who said, no, 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 I don't want to do social media. They're going to start to do social media because they need to be connected.
Wow, you're going to find this interesting.
Yeah.
The last 3 people that sat in your chair,
Yes.
every one of them has said, actually 4 people, the last 4 people have said, you know, this is the first time I'm doing this.
Yes.
Community is important.
Yes.
And one woman said, I used to come in 97, I'm coming back now. Another woman who's now in the other room said, I've never done this before, but I need to do it. What is it about this year where people cannot not do something different?
Yes, they need to be part of something larger, and they know that. The energy of each animal that comes in compels us on the subtle level to go forward and be part of that. And sheep is about, okay, I'm safer in my crowd, I'm safer in the group. But also the good thing about sheep is that it's willing to negotiate with the other animals. So we may actually even see, I don't know, even politically, that people are talking together,
Right.
even though they may not actually want to go to dinner with each other.
Oh, right. Now, tell us a little bit. You know, you said this was your 10th book, and you're doing a workshop. You're doing a workshop tonight.
Doing a workshop tonight. Yes.
Tell us about what this looks like for people to come together to learn about this. What will this be about? Because I'm so intrigued by this. I don't want to be rude and start reading the book here, but
Well, thank you. What we're going to be doing is predictions for the new year, but more than that, I do feng shui. And so we're going to be talking about what you can do in your homes to shift the energy, because this year is great for some signs and not so great for other signs. And I'm a Libra, I always want to balance it all out, and have
Right.
everybody have a happy year. So feng shui is amazing because we are realizing through science that your environment affects you. You know this, right?
yeah, I do
Yes.
know it a lot. And so how do we know if we are of a sign, if it's going to be a good, everybody tells me this is a great year for my sign, but I don't know.
And what's your sign?
Sagittarius.
So, but
and
that's
Capricorn.
your Western
That's
sign.
my Western sign. I don't know what my. How do I
Yes.
find out what my sign is? over
Yes,
here?
there's a
do
list.
I dare? Do we dare reveal this today?
Yes. There's
okay.
a list in the book that
All right.
shows you what year goes with what sign. And actually, Chinese astrology is more complex than this. This is the sun sign version that to make it accessible to
That's
everybody.
interesting.
But different signs are going to have different experiences. For example, I'm a rat, which
Okay.
yes, and so rat is about, fast, let's do business, let's do some activity. And sheep is like, I'm going to eat the nice tender grass. I'm going to climb up the mountain and get a better view. They're not that compatible.
Oh,
and so
man.
I'm reminded to slow down a little bit.
Okay. Well, I know my sign.
Yes,
Okay.
drum roll.
I think I know it because I looked it up.
Yes,
I'm in this category here.
you're a tiger.
I'm a tiger.
You're
I'm a tiger.
tiger.
Oh,
So
okay.
tiger is a
Wow, isn't that
really
interesting?
interesting sign. It's almost a duality sign because the energy
feel like that.
is yes. It's I want to sit back in the sun. I want to wait. But as soon as the delectable little antelope goes by, you spring into action, and then it's fast-moving energy. So think about you and all those little sheep around. You have lots of opportunities to be fed. So this year, what are your goals? What
They're
things
big.
do you want?
They're big.
Because you can absolutely just say, all right, goal number 1, boop, got it. Goal number 2, boop, got it. Yes. The thing that tiger has to recognize is that you could easily scare a flock of sheep. You can't go in with your goals and say, yes, we're all going to do this right now. It
Look
is-
at the, oh no, oh, they're like smiling at you. They're like,
Yes, you're going to have to go easy on the flock. Lots of people are there to help you, but you have to go in gently.
well, it's interesting because I intuitively kind of knew that. And at the same time, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
We have 2 major things that are happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody's been part of it. One is the launch of the Transformation Network and a
Fantastic.
brand new network. Radio is a piece of it. This is
Yeah.
another piece. And many channels. The flip side of that is we also have a new paradigm for crowdfunding, which we're launching. So
Fantastic.
I knew
Yeah.
if I said we're going to do all of these together,
Yeah.
there would be no
The
sheep.
sheep would scatter.
The sheep would not be able
Yes.
to, right?
Yes.
So intuitively, I think I knew that. And I said, you know what, this thing over here, it'll happen when it happens.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about a little bit? I'll
exactly-
do a better job
It's
at that.
exactly. If you run through the herd
try
of
to be
sheep,
better.
they're going to scatter.
Okay.
All right. But what you can do is you can stand on the mountaintop and say, hey, everybody, my crowd, my people, my tribe, this is the way we're going. And I will be here to lead you and protect you. They'll line up. They'll say, okay.
Now, here's what I want to ask you about. I mean, this is fascinating to me. I don't want to sit here. I'm supposed to do the interview and I'm reading a book. Okay, but I'm going to ask you a question. Somebody born September of 1949,
Okay.
would they stand a chance being my friend?
Well, if they're born in September of 1949, they're going to be an ox.
Yes,
so
they are. I
ox
read that already.
Yes.
I read
and so
that.
Ox, think of the ox in the landscape. They're on the farm. They're working very hard. I've got to plow this field. Don't bother me till I'm finished. And they keep plugging along. They're in a completely different landscape or completely different situation than a tiger. So the tiger is in the wild, and the ox is on the farm.
Yes.
They have different things that they're doing.
Yes.
They're not going to attack each other because the ox is too big, so the tiger says, you know what, I'm not going to attack that.
Right.
And the ox says, hey, I just want to plow.
Yes.
But they are very different energies. And so the tiger needs to go and appreciate the ox, and the ox needs to appreciate the tiger. And then there's harmony.
I love that. And I want to talk about that. Harmony is so important, and I love that you use that word. You know, one of the things that, you know, my sense is, from the little I know about Chinese astrology, that it really does speak to the word harmony.
Yes.
In a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, what you're talking about to me is getting to a level of understanding about the way that we all show up in the world.
Yes.
And what's
so
possible,
true.
right?
Yes. Yeah, it really is. And to understand that while we are not that caricature, I mean, you're not always tiger, you have more to your chart. We have tendencies. And when we understand that another person is an ox or somebody is a rat, and then we can say, okay, I understand why you're taking an action this way or not taking an action. And we can be more tolerant. And Year of the Sheep is a time to be tolerant.
Wow, okay. So in some level, it's really fascinating, right? You know, what we're starting to hear is, you know, a level of inclusivity in a lot of arenas.
Yes.
You know, I've commented now twice about the Pope. You know, just a different form and a different energy come into light.
Yes.
You know, sheep, we don't fully understand it. You know, wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, there's wolf in sheep's clothing. Language we come up with about this.
Yes.
But what is the true essence of the sheep in terms of what it could mean globally, what it could mean for the world if we could live in harmony with this energy?
It is. It does give us an opportunity to end war. Sheep years, we do end a lot of wars traditionally. And so we have an opportunity at least to lay down the arms for a little while, to be less of this male aggressive, must conquer, and a little bit more of let's think about the family. And that's not just the family of, you know, father, mother, child, but the family of my neighborhood, the family of my city, the family of my community. That's our opportunity, and then we could extend that energy. We don't have to forget the lesson. We could stop the fighting and live in harmony. Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice? But we're seeing it, right? I mean, isn't it the new leader in India, you know, has come out and talked openly about, you know, the atrocity against women and what the position is about that. I mean, that's another voice.
Yes, it is.
We often think that sheep don't have a voice, and I wanted to ask you about this. And certainly I'm trying to get a whole lot in a short period of time, but we'll spend more time together. We do, you know, wolf in sheep's clothing. What does that even mean? You know, does it mean that, you know, this is a year of submissive nature? What does that literally mean for people? And what would we want to say as people learn more about Chinese astrology?
Well, you know,
because there's a myth around this, I think.
There is. And actually the mythic part of it is so important. And what you say about wolf in sheep's clothing, or being shorn, or being led by a shepherd, all of these things, all of the idioms and the myths and the stories are important because they are stories that are going to have an importance this year over other years. Just as we left the year of the horse, and you know, the horse has its stories too. You know, the horse trading and things like that. We need to keep these things in mind. And so as we go forward, I think the biggest thing for sheep probably is a Chinese story.
Yeah.
And the Chinese story is there's a little boy who has a large flock of sheep. And one day he falls asleep, and one of the sheep wiggles through a hole in the fence. And the boy wakes and he goes, oh well, I have lots of sheep. Next day he falls asleep again, and another sheep wiggles through now a slightly larger hole.
Right.
And this keeps happening until one day he wakes up and he has one sheep left, and then he gets up and he fixes the hole. So it reminds us of a stitch in time saves nine. That's our version of that story. And it says, if something needs to be done, it's time to do it.
Yeah.
No more waiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I tell you, I really have a sense of that.
Yes.
You know, and at the same time, you know, allowing enough of the energy so that we don't force something before it's time.
Correct.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, there was no reason to mend a fence when there's no hole.
Right, right, right. Yeah, thank you so much, Donna, for joining me. Tell folks how they can find out more about you. And boy, this is going to be a fun time here tonight, huh?
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. And yes, the book is available on Amazon and iTunes in both print and in e-versions.
Nice.
And then also I'm at DonnaStellhorn.com. And there's, in my YouTube channel, I have many video predictions. Nice. Also things to do before Chinese New Year to bring in extra luck. So lots of videos on YouTube.
I'm going to get on the YouTube and find that out now.
That's excellent.
Thank you so much, Donna. It was great. It was a pleasure.
I can't wait to see you again.
I know. We're going to do this again. Thank you. We'll be right back.